Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga, and this time trying something new. Hope you will like it. It is the Formula One Australian Grand Prix 2024 predictions. I've kind of broken that into some categories where we're like talking about biggest flops, biggest surprised, crazy predictions, and the podium predictions. Get in the comment section below and think about and tell me yours, of course, and possibly we could and see like where do we land up. It's something that I'm trying to kind of start again with the channel, with me trying to predict and seeing how right have I been, how wrong I have been. Possibly this might mean that I might do a video where I count on like how my prediction was, what my prediction was, and then give you a score on the rundown. For that, also get in your comment section below to share your predictions. The questions are pretty simple. It's basically saying the biggest flop, the biggest surprise, crazy predictions, and podium predictions. I hope at this point you have hit the subscribe button and also the like button. I have realized that you guys love watching my videos, but do not like subscribing. So if you have not done that yet, do that now, and that will be appreciated a lot. Let's jump into it now. I will start from the biggest flop. And in my opinion, at this moment, I think the biggest flop for the Australian Grand Prix, and it has to be an Australian for it to be a biggest flop. Everybody else will, doesn't kind of have a bigger issue, but I think the biggest flop becomes big if it's an Australian. And I have gone for none other than Daniel Ricciardo. I know it is hard, but I feel the momentum is not his side. The confidence does not look that he is in a lot of confidence. So I feel this will be his biggest flop. There are other candidates as well, of course, with Lance Stroll, but I don't think that'll be this race affects him as big as it would affect Daniel Ricciardo if he had to DNF, had to kind of have contact with Yuki Tsunoda, or something happens in his race that he does not control, or he controls but does not control well, which kind of leads him to possibly being the biggest flop, in my opinion. Of course, this can also, yeah, that's kind of my prediction right now. The biggest flop, I've gone for Daniel Ricciardo. Biggest surprise, and I have gone for Mr. Yes, there's a cliffhanger here. The biggest surprise in my mind, or in my mind, would be basically if Alex Albon Williams in the Q3 basically gets the positions around P6 or 7 and finishes with those points as well. That's kind of my biggest surprise right now with Alex Albon. He has been chipping at it. Of course, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia did not go as per plan for Williams. There will be a man, and Alex Albon, who is the man possessed and will do it. That's kind of my prediction. Of course, biggest surprise could also have been a lot different with the podiums, but I think Alex Albon getting into Q3, Williams getting into Q3, and then scoring the points in the Grand Prix is the biggest surprise. Crazy predictions. It has to be crazy. It has to be crazy, and it has to be an Australian to be a crazy prediction. And in my mind, this is none other than Oscar Piastri. Yes, that's a crazy prediction. Oscar Piastri gets on the podium. That's the crazy prediction. Basically, we want to try and we want to see. In my mind, I think that's the crazy enough. He basically gets the podium. That's the crazy one. And then the podium predictions, in my opinion, will be Carlos Sainz P3, third step of the podium, Charles Leclerc P2, and none other than Max Verstappen winning the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, Carlos Sainz comes back from appendicitis. He will be the one fired up. It could also switch. But in my mind, I think right now, keeping the momentum and seeing where things are, I would feel that it would be the Ferrari boys who will be the challengers to Max Verstappen. Of course, there is a missing Sergio Perez. And you might ask, why have I not even put him in the biggest flop or the biggest surprise or the crazy prediction? It is not crazy enough because he's not Australian. It is not biggest flop because he's not Australian either, and biggest surprise. I don't think it'll be a big surprise if suddenly Checo Perez loses momentum after 2 great races. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think about this. biggest flop, biggest surprise, crazy prediction, and the podium predictions. And I see you for the review of the Grand Prix after the race is done, and also the reaction from the predictions or the review of the predictions next after the race is done as well. So look forward. I hope you look forward for that. Do hit the subscribe button, smash the like, and I catch you in the next one.